Somebody sends you a link, you open it, you don't type anything and you don't click anything else. And the assistant reads your mail, packs it into a URL, and sends it to them. It's already fixed, and you have no way of knowing whether it happened to you. This is Copilot Personal, the consumer one, not the enterprise product. Before you close the tab, that distinction is the trap, and I'll come back to it. Microsoft patched its server-side this month, so there's nothing for you to deploy. I'll show you what it did, the part that survives a password reset, and what to check Monday. This is the repeat. There was an undocumented parameter you could put in a Copilot URL. Autorun = 1. Stick a prompt in the same link, and Copilot ran it the moment the page loaded. No pressing enter, no confirming anything. Just opening the link was the whole interaction. And it ran inside your session, with your connections, so it had whatever you'd connected. Mail, files, calendar. So the prompt tells the assistant to go and read your mail, encode it, and fetch a URL that belongs to the attacker. Copilot does all of that, because from its side it's a user asking for something. And then there's the second half. Content it summarizes can write instructions into its long-term memory. Those instructions stay. Change your password, revoke your sessions. They're still there. Here's the timeline that bothers me. The researchers reported this in December. Microsoft shipped a partial fix in February that closed the autorun parameter and left the other two paths open. The full fix landed this month. That's 6 months where part of it was closed and part of it wasn't. And I need to own something because it happened while I was making this. The research says there's no evidence this was exploited before the patch. I read that line and I moved on. Felt fine about it. 2 weeks ago I sat in this chair and told you that no evidence is a sentence about your logging, not about what happened. It took me a second pass to notice I'd done the exact thing I'd just warned you about. Nobody was watching for this. There was no detection built for it. Nothing could have tripped. So no evidence here means nobody was looking. And I knew that, and I still read straight past it. Now the reading I'd expect is it's the consumer one, so it isn't ours. I'd be careful with that. The question isn't which product Microsoft shipped the bug in. It's whether anybody in your organization has connected a work mailbox or work files to an assistant you don't manage. If they have, the boundary you're relying on is a policy nobody enforced, not a control. And I'll be straight about the sharing argument. The specific parameter is patched and it doesn't generalize. What does generalize is the shape. An assistant that holds connections to your data, takes instructions from more than one place, and keeps a memory. One team writes down how they govern that, and it applies to every assistant they add afterwards, including the ones that don't exist yet. So, Monday, find out which assistants your people are actually using and which accounts are connected to them. Then decide whether a work mailbox is allowed to be connected to something you don't administer, and write it down, because right now it probably isn't written anywhere. And on the memory, Copilot Personal has a settings page for it. Go and look at yours. If you've never seen that page, that's the finding. If you want to know which assistants are reaching your tenant data, the readiness check is free and linked below. But the memory page takes 30 seconds. Go and look at that first. I'm Idris, and I'll see you next week.